You flip a switch, the lights turn on. You charge your phone. The whole world is right there in your hand. But have you ever really stopped to think about the massive, complex system that makes all of that possible? Today, we're going to dig into the hidden dilemma at the very heart of our energy system, using some incredible research from Our World in Data. And here's the thing. It's not just one single problem. Nope. We're actually dealing with two massive, connected issues, and we've got to solve them both at the same time.
All right, so let's get into it. How do we even begin to tackle this? Well, before we can talk about solutions, we've got to get a real handle on the challenges themselves. Let's see what the data shows us.
So, the first big problem, it all comes down to a really simple fact. For basically 200 years, all our progress has been fueled by, well, burning stuff, fossil fuels. And that has come with a huge price tag.
And I mean, just look at this. This chart really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? It shows just how incredibly dependent we are. Over 80%. That's how much of our global energy comes from coal, oil, and gas. Yeah, these things built the world we live in, for sure, but man, they've left us with some really serious problems to clean up.
You know, when we talk about fossil fuels, everyone's mind immediately jumps to climate change. And that's a huge piece of the puzzle, no doubt. But the consequences are so much bigger than just that. They're also a massive cause of air pollution, which actually makes them the most dangerous forms of energy we have.
Okay, so which energy sources are actually the safest, and which are the most dangerous? I mean, really, have you ever thought about it? Well, this data breaks it down. It looks at the number of deaths from both accidents and air pollution for the same amount of energy produced. And the difference is it's staggering. Coal and oil are literally in a different league of deadliness compared to low-carbon options like solar, wind, and nuclear. All right, so that's the first huge problem. But now let's pivot to this second one. Because this isn't about having too much of the wrong kind of energy, this is about the heartbreaking reality for hundreds of millions of people who barely have any energy at all.
Think about this for a second. While folks in one part of the world are trying to figure out how to clean up their high-tech, energy-guzzling lifestyles, there are almost 770 million people who don't even have access to a light bulb. I mean, a life without electricity is a life cut off from opportunity, from modern healthcare, from so much. So, to really grasp what this energy poverty looks like day to day, researchers have this really useful idea. They call it the energy ladder. It's a simple concept, but it's super powerful for showing how a family's energy choices change as their income goes up.
So, you start at the very bottom. On the lowest rung of this ladder, you have millions of families, and they're cooking their meals by burning things like wood or even animal dung right inside their homes. You can just imagine the smoke. It creates this terrible indoor air pollution. It's a health crisis that's been around forever. So for these families, climbing up that ladder to cleaner fuels, it's not a luxury. It's literally a matter of life and death.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got these two monster problems, right? On one hand, too much dirty, dangerous energy. On the other, not nearly enough energy for hundreds of millions of people. And for the longest time, it felt like you couldn't fix one without making the other worse. It seemed impossible. But something happened. The game has completely changed.
So, here's the thing. It's not like we didn't have alternatives. We've known for ages that things like nuclear power and renewables are way safer and cleaner than fossil fuels. But there was always one giant roadblock, one thing holding them back: cost. For most of history, they were just way too expensive.
But then, over the last 10 years or so, this quiet technological revolution has been happening, and it has completely flipped the script. As this data from Our World in Data shows, clean energy isn't the pricey alternative anymore, not by a long shot. And this chart, this is the big one. This right here is the game changer. It shows you how much it costs to build a brand new power plant today. And the conclusion is it's inescapable. Solar and wind are now the cheapest sources of new electricity, ever, in all of human history. And this isn't some pie-in-the-sky prediction for the future. This is right now, today.
You really have to let that sink in. This economic shift is huge. It means that for the very first time, we actually have the tools to solve both of the world's giant energy problems at the same time. We can help richer countries build out a clean, low-carbon grid, and we can help the poorest countries get access to cheap, clean power. We don't have to choose anymore.
And make no mistake, this isn't just a theory. This transition is happening all around us. What was just a tiny, niche market a little over 10 years ago has absolutely exploded.
The shift is on, and it's moving way faster than pretty much anyone thought possible. So when you step back and look at all this data, a really clear picture starts to form. The old barriers, the technical problems and the high costs that used to define this whole dilemma, they're crumbling. And that leaves us with one last, really big, really urgent question.
So the question isn't, can we do it anymore? The technology's here. It's safe, it's clean, and now it's cheap. The real question is, can we build this better energy future fast enough for everyone? The challenge has shifted. It's no longer a problem of invention. It's a problem of implementation. It's a race against the clock, and the winner isn't decided by what's possible, but by how fast and how big we're willing to go, together.